Hi, I'm Will Lockamy.
And I'm Reed Lockamy.
Welcome to Season 2 of the Iron Bowl Hour.
Or as we like to call it, the regional Emmy-worthy show that we host about college football or whatever. We don't care, we just want the regional Emmy.
Barrett, better feature outside of a football stadium, the Walk of Champions at Alabama, or the Surrey with the fringe on top at Oklahoma.
What? Come on, baby. That's it. Hey. Oh, good shot.
I missed the backhand because of all your, all this stuff.
Hey.
Well, Will, it's time for Agree to Disagree.
It is, Reed. Each week we're going to take a look at the big topics that face Alabama and Auburn in college football in general, and then we have to disagree about them.
Well, this is going to be easy for me, Will, because you are always wrong, so all I have to do is act naturally.
Easy for me to disagree with that.
Outside of the success of the 2010 season, Auburn has racked up its fair share of losses in Chiswick's other years in the program. Will he find himself on the hot seat at the end of the 2012 campaign? Will he be on the hot seat?
Right.
We're talking about Gene Chiswick, who writes these questions, right? This is the coach who just 2 years ago was setting off on an undefeated national championship season, and
right.
He completed it successfully. And I mean, that's kind of a stupid question. Now, with that said, yes, by the end of the season, he will be on the hot seat. Or he may not be on the hot seat because he may just be fired by the end of the season. Right. Because, listen, Will, let's not forget, people know this is Gene 5-19 Chiswick, right?
At a different school.
Right, exactly. But I mean, that's a lot of losses and not very many wins, right? He's a terrible coach. Everybody knows that. He came to Auburn. He had just a mediocre season, right? And then he accidentally did very well because of Cam Newton, right?
Accidentally.
Yeah.
Do you think he accidentally came back in all those games they were down in?
Yeah, I mean, he basically lost those games, really, if you think about it. But in the end, Cam Newton was able to win them for the team. Then he has another mediocre season last year. This year, he's going to lose to Clemson to start. Then Mississippi State, of all teams, beats him. And in the end, he gets fired.
Reed, you started off making sense when you pointed out that, just started off making sense when you pointed out that he won the national championship just a season removed, Reed. It doesn't make any sense that now all of a sudden he'd be on the hot seat. Surely reasonable Auburn fans realize that he's playing with like 75% of the team being freshmen and sophomores.
Well, you just said reasonable Auburn fans. I don't know how many of those people are out there really for the most part.
No, he and his staff have been recruiting like crazy. It's not going to be long before they're right back in the thick of the competition in the SEC. I promise you, as soon as these players gain a little experience, they're going to be just fine. So is Gene Chiswick.
The good news is he's not going to lose all the games. He'll probably be at La Monroe and a few other teams here and there, get a chance to get out and roll the Tumors nubs one or two last times, and that's good for him. And then we'll see who Auburn picks up for next season.
To Reed.
That's the truth of the situation. Many prognosticators like Alabama to win the national championship this season, and Nick Saban has certainly shown a tendency to do just that. Will Alabama repeat this year?
Reed, I think it's pretty clear that Nick Saban has a machine rolling in Tuscaloosa, and I don't see anything stopping that machine anytime soon. I know the big question lies with the defense and the fact they lost 8 starters, but really the way he runs that program and that team has all the different players and packages rotating all the time. People that weren't starters last year still got plenty of playing time.
Sure.
A.J. McCarron comes back. He proved himself to be a great quarterback. I don't know what's going to stop that machine this year.
Well, listen, you make some good points there, and I don't think
you.
I don't think the number of starters that Alabama's returning is really the issue, though. Unfortunately, there are a couple things. Number one, Nick Saban does have a fancy machine there in Tuscaloosa, but the Nick Saban machine is one that is programmed to win national championships one year and then have a somewhat disappointing year the year after that. The bigger issue, though, for Alabama is that unfortunately, unlike last year when they had basically a one-game season that turns out they could lose that game and still win the national championship, this year they have a couple of tricky games that they're going to have to win. And so not only do they have to beat LSU and Arkansas and start off with a tricky game against Michigan and all of that, but at the same time they're having to win all of those games. You've got other teams like Florida State who just have a cakewalk straight to the national championship game.
Look,
so
good news for Alabama fans, Reed. It's been proven they don't have to win all those games. You could drop one. Hey, LSU a few years ago dropped 2.
But not this year. That's the thing. There's not going to be some sort of Oklahoma State, we're losing a game we shouldn't lose. This year you're going to have a Florida State run the table because it's just going to be too easy. You're going to have an Oklahoma, run the table because it's just going to be too easy. I think those sorts of things are going to happen this year. Listen, it's been a nice run for the SEC, but I think this year you're going to find two teams from outside of the conference competing for the national championship. And unfortunately, Alabama's going to have to wait another year.
I'd like to be the first to go ahead and congratulate Alabama on their 15th national championship?
50th, I think.
50th.
Continuing a recent trend in college football, both Auburn and Alabama are opening their seasons on neutral sites. Is this good for college football? Well, without a doubt, these types of games are good for college football. They're good for college football fans because they're exciting. They're good for college football players because they're exciting. Listen, I was talking to a friend of mine earlier today, and he pointed out these games are almost like bowl games before the season even starts. And think about how big of a deal that is for teams like Notre Dame, who don't get to go to bowls, right? This is a big deal for those kids, and this is good for college football.
Look, I think it's probably fun for the kids that play on the teams, but it's awful for the fans, and here's why. You lose that spirit of college football.
I don't like ghosts, Will, so I'm okay with losing the spirit of
not a
college
scary
football.
kind of spirit. The fun spirit of being at the stadium, on the campus, the place where you've been, where you spent maybe 4 years or 1 year or 8 years, or you never know. But either way, it's where you spend all that time, and so it's good for college football for people to be able to go back to that campus. Also, Reed, some fans can't afford to go to these different states and fly on chartered planes. Some of us are broke, Reed. We don't have any money, and we want to go to the game.
Well, I know that's true of you, Will, but listen, you don't have to go to every football game that there
you're not
is.
going to go to every Tulane game?
I am going to go to every Tulane game, but of course Tulane doesn't ever get invited to these sorts of games, so it's pretty easy. But I kind of prefer to watch games on television often. Don't forget, part of college football is bad commentators, right? And I like to watch the game and make fun of the commentator and complain and all those kinds of things. That's part of the game.
What is fun about sneaking little bottles of booze into your living room, Reed?
That's a good point. It is. I have found it very difficult to do that, and so I don't even try to get them into my living room anymore. That's a good point, Will.
Reed, college football is great because it's college football and it's not professional football. I think this brings us I think it brings us too close to being professional. After the break, Reed and I learned how to play ping pong, and I promise you that in some way relates to football. Coach Saban feels like it's important for his players to learn hand-eye coordination through the game of ping pong. So we thought the same thing and went and learned the game of ping pong at BumperNets.
That's true, Will, except for what we learned was table tennis, not ping pong. Homer Brown loves table tennis. For 42 consecutive years, he has competed in the U.S. Open Table Tennis Championship, and he is widely known for his unorthodox Homer Brown knee special serve. In 2009, the Alabama football team first brought Homer in to work with the players.
Good! I told that group, I said, guys, I've had experience on a national coach and had worked with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, did a clinic, when they went on to win the Super Bowl, right?
Sure.
So I thought, well, if I tell these guys they can go all the way to get to the national championships, I bet they might have a chance to win it. So I told them, I stuck my neck out. I think you guys can do it. And if you all play, you guys got to get there. Sure enough, they got there and won it.
Alabama went on to win the national championship in 2 of the 3 years that Homer has trained them.
So you think you can take Reed and I through the journey of learning how to play ping pong and we can become good players today?
Yeah, I think we can. You got a great coach here,
Yeah, sure. And we're natural athletes anyway, so.
Yeah, I was on math team.
Nice.
This is a hard rubber. That would be called inverted soft. And then right here we've got pips out with sponge. You can see the yellow part, and that's what I use.
Is there any way to play without rubber? Are there any that don't have
Well, you
rubber
could
at all?
stain it, but you're not going to have much control and touch. But
You can't play with just wood, just
you
plain
could if it
wood,
was stained, but
you know.
the thing is you want to have some rubber there. You can put some spin or have some touch and feel.
Now, did you use an orange ball with a blue table for the University of
Surely
Alabama?
not.
Oh, we took, orange balls over there.
With blue tables. First, we need to choose the right equipment.
Table tennis is a real fast sport, so you got to be able to get around here very quickly. This is home base for me. As you can see, I'm down pretty low, almost level with the table. Now, my goodness, look at him. He is way down there. I'll step over, slide, pow, with my backhand.
Pow! Now, do you say stuff like that during the match?
Oh yeah, I mean,
Pow!
I'm known to be a talker.
Excellent.
They know when I come to a tournament, especially the U.S. Open.
Right.
I talk a lot.
I think I may do
Kind
the
of gets me psyched up a little
step,
bit.
slide, Hammer time.
Yep. If I was up here like this, or a lot of people play, look I'm not going to be in position to do anything, and neither are you.
No, that's
so
no
you
good,
got to be
yeah.
ready. Kill shots get over 100 miles an hour.
Are there overheads and?
Oh, I mean, we'll hammer it. That way you can hit it over the person's head.
Not against the rules to hit it
No.
like this. Okay.
Kill shots?
Oh, kill shots.
For the next 3 hours, Homer taught us about footwork, hand-eye coordination, endurance, and humiliation.
Stay down low. That way you're ready to throw. Can you see how that's good for other sports?
Oh, yeah.
Baseball, football.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, look at that. Crouch down a little bit more, guys. Let's get into it. Get your hand off the paddle.
Okay.
Yeah, put it to your side. You don't want to get in the way. You don't want to get any hand oil on that rubber, you know.
Gotcha.
You
There
don't
you
want
go.
to get in the
Never.
way. You got your right foot forward. You're going to come up and stroke up your
Ow.
forehead.
Okay. All right.
All right. You relax.
Okay.
You gotta
Okay.
be loose.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Try it again.
All right, here we go.
All right. Right.
Ow.
Like that. Are you feeling the
I
leg?
feel it. I
Hurts.
feel it.
You feeling the buttocks?
I feel it in my buttocks.
You got a lot of muscles in those buttocks. Let's work them. Well, I don't care if they have backspin or topspin. If you take it right off the bounce and you're quick enough, you flip it, you're gonna get that ball back because you're right there to take it off the bounce. Move and then stroke. Move and then stroke. Yeah. Move and then stroke. That's good. You make a good doubles team, guys. I love it. You guys are doing great.
Okay. Okay.
Someone
Okay.
What's the matter now, Will?
Okay,
You gotta
tired.
get with it.
That's tough.
Tired.
You want to make sure when you've got the right shot that's set up, when they make a mistake, you're ready to go and hammer it, to kill that ball. And when you kill it,
Yes.
you make sure it's a winner. Don't baby the ball.
No.
That looks
This is-
natural.
Don't baby it.
This isn't a
Hammer
kid
it.
sport.
Win the point. Ready? Guess what? That's a kill. That hurt.
What? It hurt.
You feel it?
Yeah, it got me in the knee.
All right.
Got me in the knee.
Well, Homer, I think that was some of the most intense training we've ever done for anything. I don't see how we're not ready to compete.
Well, I think you guys might be. We're going to find out, too. That's it. That's it. That's it. Oh, look at that.
Look at that.
That's it.
It's a Homer Brown knee
That's
special.
a Homer Brown knee special. Whoop. Come on, baby. That's it. Oh, good shot. Look, the old backhand came through.
I missed the backhand because of all your all this stuff.
Hey. On it. That's it. That's it. That's it.
Gosh, Homer.
Well, here's what I say. We've been trained. We were mismatched against Homer here, but now I
Truly.
think we go brother versus brother and see what happens on
I'd
the
like
ping
to
pong
see
table.
that.
To choose who serves first, Will must guess which hand holds the ball.
Your right hand. Your right hand? Oh,
Oh, my goodness. I've never had anybody do that before. That's crazy. Let's go. Here we go. Whoa, edge ball.
edge balls count, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's a good shot, Will.
Thanks.
Good shot.
Get that.
Boom.
Whoa! Woo!
Oh!
Okay. Oh! Nice try. Nice try.
Boom.
Oh! Oh, I missed it.
Yeah, guess what? His point.
Too much
Homer.
spin.
That doesn't happen much in the national tournaments, does it?
Not too often.
Oh!
Whoa, nice try. Nice try. This could be the game.
All right,
here.
Will.
Here we go.
It's 10 to 6. This determines everything. This is for favorite child.
This
Here
is
we
when
go.
I make
Here
my
we go.
move.
Great shot over here.
Good game, Will. Good game. High five.
Okay, high five.
Nice.
Way to go, guys.
Homer, thanks for the instruction.
Yeah, thanks, Homer.
You guys really learned very quickly.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
pretty good
But
there.
we got to work on, your buttocks and your
Yeah.
footwork.
We'll
a little
work on
bit.
that, sure.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna go home and work on my buttocks a lot.
Yeah, you need to. I tell you.
Yeah.
They say there's a lot of muscle there. you
Homer,
know.
thanks so much.
Yeah.
None of this victory over Will could have been possible without your instruction.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Send me a check.
Will do.
Absolutely.
Will do. Well, better luck next time, Will. I know you tried hard, but as expected, I prevailed in the table tennis game.
Yeah, my butt muscles are still sore.
Yeah, I spanked pretty good.
Up next, we go to the top of Vulcan with former Auburn quarterback Barrett Trotter. Reed, it's time for rapid fire questions with former Auburn quarterback Barrett Trotter.
All right, here we go. You're down to your last year of eligibility. Are you excited about your last year as an Auburn Tiger?
Very excited.
Okay.
Barrett, better feature outside of a football stadium, the Walk of Champions at Alabama or the Surrey with the fringe on top at Oklahoma?
It's a tough decision.
Yeah, it is.
I say neither.
Okay, all right. How many national championships does Alabama have?
Now,
Yes.
according to who?
Alabama.
Like 14,
And now to rational people.
3, 4 tops.
Okay, all right. The most attractive co-eds can be found at which SEC school?
Auburn.
The most attractive guest locker rooms can be found at what SEC school?
Alabama.
Wow.
The nastiest guest locker rooms can be found where in the SEC?
Tennessee was pretty bad.
Sounds about right.
If you had to describe the Nick Saban statue in only 2 words, what 2 words would you use?
Too big.
Too big, okay. He's talking about the shoes. How do you feel about awkward elevator rides?
I love them.
Great. Fantastic. Good.
Former Auburn quarterback Barrett Trotter, glad to see your spiral there in the elevator. You still got it.
Still got it.
Still got it, for sure.
Well, Barrett, let's talk about this. As you know, Auburn is just sort of now wrapping up kind of a quarterback, not controversy, but who's going to be our starting quarterback. And certainly you've been a part of those kinds of decisions before. What is that like for Kyle Frazier and Clint Mosley to be in the middle of that sort of thing with all the media pressure?
I mean, it's pretty tough dragging it out, all spring and summer and then right up until the first game. I mean, basically what they did last year. But the good part about it is I think it keeps both guys working really hard and both guys engaged. Because you got to have both of them ready in case something happens.
And is that actually the only reason they do that? I mean, it seems like when you decided you were leaving and not coming back, that's really when Kyle Frazier was, picked as the quarterback, right? Am I wrong?
I'll let you, you can believe whatever you want.
But no, but you know the answer. The players know. They know early on, right? And it's just kind of for the media, or how does that work?
You might think you know, but at the same time, until they tell you, until they confirm it, pretty much got to just run with the fact that it's still an open spot.
Now, you're a guy who, last year famously was named the starter, and then you started, and then you weren't starting, and then, of course, you came back and had the fantastic performance in the bowl game at the end of the year. But how tough is that? Because we take for granted, and people see the guy that's not the starter, and we think, oh, so awkward or embarrassing for that guy. But what is that like to be in the position of all of a sudden finding yourself not the starting quarterback anymore?
It's different, especially coming from last year. I was the backup pretty much all year, and that was what I was used to. And then being the starter, and then all of a sudden being backup again, it was a lot different transition than the year before. Just a lot different dynamics to the whole situation.
How did that happen in the Florida game? Because up to that point, it's not like you'd had a horrible season, and all of a sudden, what did they say to you?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we were 5-2, and we were up 7-0 with a touchdown pass that I'd thrown to D'Angelo Benton in the back of the end zone, and we went at halftime, and Coach Malzahn kind of came over there and grabbed me after sitting down for a minute or two, and he said, "Hey, Clint's going to start the second half," and I said, "All right." And I never saw the field again until the Chick-fil-A Bowl.
And then, of course, what was that like to now that we know, of course, you didn't use your last year of eligibility, and what was that like to go out on that kind of experience?
Oh, it was awesome to be able to finish like that and just come back in and play really well. It was really weird, actually, because it was almost like an out-of-body experience, like the movie Click with Adam Sandler, where, you fast forward. So it was like I went to warm-ups, and then it was like the next thing I remember was there was a timeout, and we're standing on the field, and I just remember looking around being like, how did I get back here out on the field again? And it all happened pretty quick. It was just kind of weird.
I do know that feeling. Every time I see an Adam Sandler movie, I try to pretend like I'm not watching the movie. Now, I got a question, because a lot of people in this state, certainly it's all about Auburn, Alabama, and who's the dominating team, and it kind of is cyclical. But a lot of people, when Nick Saban took the job, said, well, this is the end of the road for Auburn. And certainly that's been quite an impressive program in Tuscaloosa since that time. With that said, here Auburn won the national championship in 2010. What has the feeling been in Auburn, having to face this very formidable foe on the other side of the state?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things where it's kind of like keeping up with the Joneses, So they win one, we win one, they win one again, And I think it'll be a constant battle back and forth.
Are you predicting Auburn's going to win one this season?
It sounds like it.
I didn't predict that.
Well, let's look at this season. ESPN picking Auburn to go 6-6. So are a lot of people. You know this team. You know Kyle Frazier. What do you think is going to happen this year with Auburn?
I don't really predict wins and losses, but I'll predict that if
awesomeness or not awesomeness. Yeah, you can
if
predict
they pick up the offense and really know it. because they're good enough to do it, but it's really just being comfortable with it.
Well, Barrett Trotter, thanks so much for hanging out. It was fun.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. Up next, it's time for the Wickles Pickles Picks of the Week.
Well, Will, it's time for the Wickles Pickles Picks of the Week, and this is where you and I are going to look all the way into the future and try to figure out how Auburn and Alabama are going to do in their games.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah, the way the competition works, Will, is we'll try to pick the game. I'll say this team will win by this many, and you'll say this team will win by this many, and if we hit it right on the head, then we pick up 0 points, which is good. This is like golf, Will. The lower the score, the better.
Great.
If you're off by a little bit, then you pick up however many points you were off by.
Okay, great. Let's do it.
Okay, I'm going to beat you. All right, so the first game we have to look at this week, of course, is the big matchup between Alabama and Michigan. Will, what's your pick for this game?
Alabama by 17.
Okay, I'm going to say Alabama will win as well, but I'm going to say only by 10 points.
Whew. Okay, Reed.
All right, next game, Auburn versus Clemson in the season opener. What do you say?
I think in an upset, Auburn wins this game by 6.
Okay, I think some Auburn fans will be upset when Clemson wins this game by 4 points. Okay, so there are our Wickles Pickles Picks of the Week, Will.
Great, fantastic. A Wickles pickle will tickle your taste bud just right.
Indeed. All right, Will. Well, that's all the time we have for this week's show, and it has been a great one. I'm not surprised. We always do a terrific job. But before we do go, I do want to mention this. Our good friend and talented producer, Gray Lloyd, was not with us here this week like he was all year last year, and that's actually because he's in the hospital right now. And even though we know that Gray is going to be back at it and here with us before we even know it, I do want to say this whole situation has made us all stop and think about what's really important in life.
That's
and
right.
Of course, that's regional Emmys. So to you, Gray, I say you are to get better immediately and come back here to the show and help us win the regional Emmy that we so richly deserve.
There you go. That's all the time we have for this week's Iron Bowl Hour. I'm Will Lockamy.
And I'm Reed Lockamy.
Roll Eagle, Reed.
And War Tide, Will.
The Iron Bowl Hour is brought to you by Wickles Pickles. Add an exciting new taste to everything from Thanksgiving dinner to Saturday sandwiches. A Wickles pickle will tickle your taste buds just right. And Vulcan Park and Museum, home to the world's largest cast iron statue. For more information, log on to www.visitvulcan.com.
Well, Barrett, thanks so much for hanging out, man. It was fun.
Appreciate it. Thanks
Up
for having me.
next, yeah. Sorry. No, sorry.
Shut up.
Hey,
There we go. We deserve.
there you go. That's all the time we have for this week's Iron Bowl Hour. I'm Will Lockamy.
And I'm Reed Lockamy.
Roll Eagle, Reed.
Wait, Roll Eagle? Are you kidding? We were 4 words away.